offshore wind. And that's part of the problem with the coastal flood advisory lasting until tomorrow here. A tornado watch also in effect for much of South Florida, including the Keys, because as is typically the case with these tropical systems, you can get some of those weak spin ups. So Dr. Postel, the wind is still sticking around. We're still having tropical storm force wind gusts. We've had those since midnight at this point. They have not let up, but the good news for the Keys is our conditions are going to be improving, but that's bad news for, say, the other portions of Florida as Elsa strengthens and moves toward them.
That's exactly right. The weather will get better eventually. I know, Felicia, it's been a long run of 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts and then some. Thank you very much for the live reporting there. And you're exactly right. The weather is going to get a lot worse farther to the north. The latest update from the Hurricane Center, 70 miles per hour in the wind speed. Pressure, hurricane reconnaissance are in there, about 1,000 millibars on the pressure still, with a maximum wind they find inside of this thing somewhere around 70, maybe not quite, but close enough. And with the sort of slight increase in strength this morning, if you're just waking up, we're now at 70 instead of 60. But there is now a hurricane warning for parts of the western Florida coastline here, and that does extend southward to Tampa. And that includes, of course, areas now farther to the north and east, where we also have tropical storm watches and tropical storm warnings in place. Storm surge will be significant, Chris. Water rises above normally dry ground, let's say at the tip of high tide or so, a couple of feet at least, and maybe a little bit more right near where the center makes landfall tonight in Florida.
All right, Dr. Postella, and right now in the northeast portion of the United States, tracking an ongoing severe weather threat. If you live in the northeast, you have company. More than 13 million under a severe thunderstorm watch here. And what we're looking at are the areas shaded in yellow is where conditions remain favorable for the development of severe weather. These yellow outlined areas where severe weather is happening right now. Could see some decent-sized hail, damaging winds, and some frequent lightning and heavy rain. This includes Binghamton. Another round on the way. Strong storm just came through, and here comes another one. A big stretch here along Interstate 81, heading over to Schenectady as well. This severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 3:15, and coming in and bearing down on Albany as well. Severe thunderstorm warning, and into Pennsylvania. South of 86 here in PA, there is a severe thunderstorm warning. The high-resolution future radar shows storms on the increase over the next few hours. This is 6 o'clock this evening from northern New Jersey through Connecticut, Rhode Island, and into Massachusetts. And then overnight around sunset, we're going to see some of these storms crashing through Long Island and through central New Jersey as well, with a few storms possibly popping up after that big burst of storms comes through during the late night hours, but by early morning things calming down and then picking back up again tomorrow with a severe weather threat from the Ohio Valley and again into parts of New England, Dr. Postel.
Chris, thank you very much. And I think, it's not too early to start talking about the possibility of Elsa moving into the Northeast late in the week or early in the weekend. It's not going to stay in the Gulf of Mexico and Florida forever. We know that it probably makes landfall, perhaps even as a hurricane, tomorrow morning, and then continues northward from there, very close to the coast in South and North Carolina, and then very likely with the center of circulation passing inside of this cone near or maybe along the coast of Long Island in southern New England as we head into Friday and into perhaps even Saturday as it moves away. Now that could bring some fairly impactful weather, gusty winds, rain, and if the wind is onshore, we could have some coastal flooding as well. Let's show you the forecast as it moves Elsa through the Carolinas, likely on Thursday, and weakening a little bit, of course, as it moves over land. And then there's a shot that we move Elsa, or what's left of it, offshore again. And with the help of an upper trough, a dip in the jet stream coming in, we could see perhaps the situation or the circulation get a little bit larger and bring with it the rain and the wind to New York, Providence, Hartford, Worcester, Boston, Nantucket. You name it. We could be dealing with a late Friday close encounter with maybe once again a tropical storm. Just a reminder, you can watch the Weather Channel's live coverage on Elsa streaming on Roku and Amazon Fire.
And our continuing coverage of Elsa rolls on now. Tropical Storm Elsa Welcome back in. I'm meteorologist Alicia Combs in Key West, where we are on the downslide from the worst weather of Elsa. We've really got the brunt of it here in the lower Keys. In fact, much of South Florida overnight this morning in the earlier part of the day. But for now, the rain is done, at least here in Key West. Wouldn't be surprised if we have a few more showers, but the wind has not let up. But because the rain is done, people are out and about taking advantage of it. You can see off in the distance there, we've got some people on the pier. People have been going out and enjoying this nice breeze, taking a look at the Straits of Florida all stirred up. But then even farther in the distance, our kite surfers are back today, which you must be a professional. I don't know who this is, but that kite surfer really is dealing with some gusty winds. We've had tropical storm force wind gusts. The last observation at Key West International Airport, which isn't very far from us here, just a couple miles, the gusts were still up at 47 miles per hour. So props out to that kite surfer for not blowing away. Now, my advice would be wait for tomorrow if you're in Key West and you have the cleanup you want to do, because the winds will calm down and it's going to be perfectly beautiful tomorrow. But Dr. Postel definitely looking a lot better here in Key West this afternoon than it did earlier this morning, like a completely different day, basically.
Yeah, you were gusting to 70 earlier this morning and now much better weather, but the weather is going to get worse. Thanks, Felicia. For many of us in Central and North Florida, we're watching sort of the core of Tropical Storm Elsa still offshore, and here is the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. It's 70 miles per hour still, unchanged through the afternoon. We're maintaining the strength. It could get a little bit stronger. We could add a few miles per hour on the wind speed later this evening and overnight tonight before it makes landfall, likely somewhere here north of Tampa near the Big Bend area in Florida. But it would only be a few miles per hour, and that kind of difference you wouldn't notice. So be prepared, though, still, because of what it's got now is very gusty winds and some pretty bad weather right in the core, which is right there just to the west of Fort Myers. The radar is suggesting there's a very strong winds aloft, and some of these storms may be capable of producing wind gusts over 70 miles per hour. That is something to watch very carefully as Elsa moves northward into North Florida, where right now the weather is stormy, but it's going to get worse.